Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lauren, and today I am going to be drawing books for my May TBR. So if you're unfamiliar with how I select books, how it works is I have all of the books that I want to read folded up into little origami stars, and they are in my jar, my star jar. And every month I select 5 books. And that is my TBR for the month. I usually read a little bit more than that, but these are the only books I look at as like must read, obligatory for the month. These are the ones that I really have to get to. This month though, I'm going to be reading a couple extra books, and I think I'm going to go ahead and talk about those now. The first book that I'm going to be reading in addition to the 5 that I select today is A House at the Bottom of a Lake by Josh Malerman, who I think he also wrote Bird Box. I'm reading this for the Buzzword Challenge. The prompt for May is house or home, so this is, house. And let me tell you, finding a book that I am remotely interested in reading that has house or home in the title, this is just about the only one I could find. But nonetheless, I am excited to read this one. It has something to do with a house at the bottom of a lake. It's supposed to be pretty creepy. So yeah, and it's a thin read, so I'll be able to knock that out pretty quickly. The next book that I will be reading this month, in addition to the 5 that I select today, is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is going to be a buddy read that I'll be doing with Evie over at She Was Only Evie. If you haven't checked out her channel yet, I really hope you will after this. She is just smart as a whip, and she gives just fantastic book reviews. So I really hope that you'll head over there. This, from what I understand, is set like a magical school setting. So I think this is gonna be a really fun read for us. The last additional book that I will be reading this month is actually going to be a vote. I have selected 2 books, and I thought it would be really fun for you guys to vote on which one you think I should read for the month of May. It will be at the end of the video though, so I hope that you will stick around and cast your vote for the book that you think that I should read this month. I think that's everything that I wanted to mention up front, so let's get to selecting books. First draw. Okay, how about we do one of these little red stars. The Long Walk by Stephen King. Okay, this is with Stephen King, so I think it's like a thriller horror. And this is a story about, I think it's a contest or a race where there's this big group of boys who they set out on this walk, and I'm not sure if they're competing for a prize or something, but I know that they have to continue walking, and if they stop, they get beaten or killed or something. From what I understand, this book is like a huge page turner, very exciting. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. The Long Walk by Stephen King. All right, second draw. All right, how about let's go for one of these little green stars. All right, The Remembrance of Earth's Past. I have this trilogy right here behind me. The 3-Body Problem is actually on my list for this month. I haven't gotten to it yet. It's probably, I think, going to be my last book that I'm going to read this month. The next book is The Dark Forest. So I haven't read the first one yet, so I'm not really sure what it's about. I think it has something to do with like first contact with aliens or something. It's supposed to be really good, so I'm really looking forward to getting to read these back to back. Third draw. Let's go. How about we do this little yellow star here? Reaper Man. Nice. This is the second book in the Death sub-series of Discworld. I read Mort. I think I read Mort in January or February. It's so much fun. It's so funny. Death is just, I love him as a character. He's a Grim Reaper. And this is the next book in that series. So that's awesome. I can't wait to read this. All right, fourth draw. Okay, how about, let's go for, how about this light pink star here? Oh, nice. Mistborn. Oh man, I'm so excited for this. Okay, I have had this book forever. Let me grab it. Hang on. Here it is, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I have been hanging on to this book for, I think I maybe ordered this in like November or something. So I'm really excited to finally be getting around to this. This seems to be a huge favorite for Brandon Sanderson fans, and I just finished reading Warbreaker last month and absolutely loved it. So I am really excited to get on to another one of his fantasy books. I believe this series is about, the setting is a world in which the bad guys have won, and I think it's about kind of the lower class, the oppressed people at the bottom, kind of rising up, and I'm pretty sure that this is a heist book. Yeah, so, man, I cannot wait for this. I'm so excited for this book. All right, fifth and final draw. Okay, let's go with, how about we do this little orange star here. The Ballad of Black Tom. Ah, all right. That's actually a really good draw. I don't have that book, but I'm pretty sure it is a very skinny little book. And given that I'm going to be reading a couple of very fat books, that'll be nice to have another little skinny book to read. This is, I think it's kind of like an urban fantasy / horror story. I believe that it is about, I think it's set in New York City, and it is about a man who has magical powers of some sort. I don't know the details of this book. Honestly, I remember reading the synopsis of it and not being exactly clear on what it was about. I just know that combined fantasy and horror, and I definitely want to read that. So yeah, fifth and final draw, The Ballad of Black Tom. So we have finally arrived at the voting portion of the video. The two books that I have selected for you guys to vote on for me to read this month are The Midnight Library by Matt Haig and A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. So if you guys recall on my TBR Star Jar video, not the last one, but I think the one before, I had A Deadly Education. It was one of the books that I drew, but I couldn't get a hold of it. Well, good news is when the time comes around for me to read it, it will be available on Libby. I believe that The Midnight Library is a story about a library that holds books that are stories of people's lives and different outcomes if they had made different choices. And then it's about a woman who gets to see those choices and decide if she would change anything about her life. And then A Deadly Education is it's another magical school setting. This one, I believe it's about a magical school where you either graduate or you get killed, and that's it. So it sounds like it has a lot of intrigue in it and has received a lot of attention. So I'm very excited to read that one as well. If you would like to cast your vote for The Midnight Library, drop the little book emoji down in the comments. And if you would rather me read A Deadly Education, drop the skull emoji down in the comments. You do not have to have read these books to vote. If you just like the way one sounds over the other, vote for it. Or if you like one of the covers better than the other, vote for it. Just for whatever reason you decide you want me to read one over the other, that's fine with me. Just throw that emoji down in the comments. So I think that is going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you for joining me while I selected my May TBR. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you will like it and possibly subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.